One of the key features with the sprayer controls that we have is you can take your nozzle color indication, and instead of using the book to decide what pressure range you have, the system automatically selects based on the color and will set the pressure compensation accordingly.
Next I'm going to go into, we have a sprayer ECU hooked up to it at the moment. I'm going to go into some of the sprayer functions. When you double click on there, it'll bring up your basic sprayer. If you wanted to move it over here, you could slide it around, or slide around, hit this to actually around, touch it. Pretty neat to move around. Works pretty handy if you want to see a couple different views of different screens. What we have here in the sprayer setting is basically your main page. There's 3 tabs here. This cycles through the tabs. Turn sprayers on and off. Turn your sections on and off, turn them back on. Zoom in, see how many gallons you have left in the tank, how many acres you have left with the gallons you have at the current spray rate, the gallons per minute, acres an hour that you're spraying at. And plus minus that. So 100% gives you your different rates of how, if you want to increase or decrease. Right here, increase, decrease by to whatever your setting is. It goes off of that percentage, or goes off of that value and changes with the percentage. Let's go out of here. Here's for your, if you had a corner nozzle, you could turn them on and off. And this is all can be integrated with your factory joystick. We offer different systems that we can integrate with all different makes and models, so we can tie into any type of joystick. So you don't have to actually hit the buttons on the screen, you can just use it with your handheld joystick. There's auto and manual mode. So when you're in auto mode, if you were using the navigation, it would automatically pop up, turn on. Or you can do manually, turn on and increase and decrease with whatever rate you want. We have the fill. You can fill it all. You can go in and enter if you want 1,000 gallons in there, you put 1,000 gallons in there. We have different on the parameters screen. So to get to there, you click up here. Got the parameters, your different rates. If you want to set a standard rate, type it into the 1/10 of a decimal. Pick your nozzle colors. Set your working width, pulses for wheel pulse, different factors, minimum speeds, your tank size. You can set an alarm to pop up, so if you want to set it at 100 gallons, so when I get to 100, the alarm automatically pops up. Your flow meter calibration pulses are all right there. And on the nozzle selection, it's set up so you can configure your own nozzles or use the standard ISO colored nozzles, and it'll automatically figure out what pressure you want. And you can also look at it right here too, where if you go in and you click, you want to know the gray nozzle, it knows that's your gallon per minute at 43.5 psi. So you can do a minimum to a max, minimum psi of 29 and a max of 87 to get your 35 to 61 gallons an acre. Well, you know your target is 43.5. We can go into nozzle settings so you can see what range you have with what color nozzles you have, and these are all based off the ISO standard. And you can program certain nozzles too if you have something that's not standard, or you can actually change them if the nozzles are wearing out. But like the first selection here is go through and you can pick your nozzle. You can see what the gallon per minute is at a rated PSI. You can type in the PSI and it will change, it'll tell you what the gallon per minute is. And also you can look right here and see what speed you want to go, and it'll tell you what range of gallons per acre you have at the bottom from a minimum and maximum PSI. So if you happen to be spraying at 10 miles an hour, you can go 12.9 to 22.3 gallons per acre and be within them pressure ranges. So this works really well with knowing what speed it does all the math for you, so you don't have to look in the book. So on this page here, when you go in and you select what color you want by verifying how fast you want to go, what your speed is, your target speed, what gallon per acre is, to make sure everything falls in with the limit. Then when you go back to the main parameters page, it's already set up. So then when you start spraying, it will alarm out if you're in or out of the range. And also it works well too if you happen to not have a pressure sensor on your system. It will do a calculated pressure off the flow meter by using the nozzle color as its input.